the last time we spoke, I asked you about the Pena and Nunes fight, and you explained it to the almost perfectly how Pena would win the fight. And that's what exactly happened. People were messaging me saying like, how did Sarah even know that that would be a possibility of like her taking the back, getting the choke, and that's what happened. Do you see that happening again in the rematch if that rematch happens?
I mean, Amanda always has a really strong start, and she does tend to fade. I thought she had developed and worked on those things a little bit better. But I think it's something about that Pena pressure where it's she's in your face. She's not allowing Amanda to be at her own pace. Uh, that threw Amanda for a loop, and the jabs that Pena was landing really messed her up. And then realistically, they both just stood there and landed almost everything they threw. The defense was pretty low for both of them in that second round. And then Pena just wore it a little bit better and was able to mentally push through. Realistically, Amanda just gave up. She was looking for a way out. She had thrown her best shots. I think she kind of was like a little bit phoning it in. I've given everything that I have in this fight, and she's still standing. And so when Pena took her down, it wasn't a great takedown. She didn't have her hooks in. It wasn't even a choke. It was, kind of just like a face squeeze. And Amanda tapped. And I think that's why Pena had to be like, what's going on? Did the round end? Is it over? Because she knew that it wasn't an actual choke, but she broke Amanda mentally. And it'll be one of those things where Amanda is strong enough to come back from that for sure. But it might actually be better for her to have a fight in between than to go right back into it, because I think that's, you didn't get caught with a punch. You didn't get, out grappled and it was a submission. You literally gave up. And it happens in fights. You see people break, and it's just not something that I would have expected to happen so quickly for Amanda. And coming back from that, I'm sure she'll talk to a sports psychologist and work through it. And she has the skill set to come back and win that fight. But I'm not sure if I'd be saying like I don't think I'd say 100% that I feel confident that Amanda will come back and win that fight. Just like I don't think 100% confidence that Pena will win that fight. It really depends on if Amanda's able to figure out a way to utilize her range and hold the pace and not allow that pressure to build, because that's that pace and that pressure is what kind of puts her down a little bit. So I guess maybe I'd say like 65-35 for Pena winning the second.
Yeah, the mental aspect was not talked about at all ahead of the first fight, but this second fight, I think that's going to be the biggest factor, most likely, right? Like you just explained it.
Definitely. It's not the physicality. It's not the technique. It's for sure the mental fatigue and the mental resilience in that fight for Amanda. And also like it's known Pena is always a dog. She's coming in and she is scrapping and she will stay in your face and you can hit her with everything you want. She'll keep going. She kind of just has that grip behind her. So unless you're going to put her to sleep or break something, she's going to stay in there and keep pushing. And that's one of her biggest strengths. It's not her technique. It's the fact that she will just keep in your face and keep going. And Amanda's strengths are, her power and her strength and her technical ability and her decision making. But definitely the mental is something that she needs to work on.
Yeah, Pena's, like you said, very hard to break. So most likely, you think Amanda needs to go in there with the game plan of maybe even taking the fight to the ground herself and trying to submit her instead of trying to knock her out?
Yeah, well, that first round, like Amanda was on top, and Pena, yeah, she was searching for things and she was looking for submissions, and she wasn't a fish out of water, but Amanda was able to like be a little bit calmer, I thought, and I thought that she looked good in between rounds too. She didn't look that tired. She didn't look overworked. She looked like she was having fun. And then a couple of those jabs landed at the start of the second round, and it just changed. And you saw Amanda started trying to hit her hard. Pena hit her hard back. And then you saw that just like Amanda just blew up in terms of like her muscles looked fatigued. She looked slower. She didn't have that same speed or that same pop. And that's what that kind of pace of a fight will do to you.
Thank you guys for watching the video to the end. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. We got a lot of things in the works, so please stay tuned.